Well, each week a group of insiders joins me to offer perspective on some of the week's top stories. This week sounding off on concerns, perhaps, about adding more hotel rooms in downtown Indianapolis. Indianapolis International Airport continuing to rake in the honors, and another newspaper going away, at least the print version. Our insiders this week are consultant for Harmless Consulting, Mike Harmless, Short Strategy Group Chairman and CEO Frank Short, and Krieg DeVault partner Deborah Daniels. And welcome one and all to the Insiders.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks.
For another edition, and we'll start with what was our top story this week. Frank, new hotels, big news. 2 Hilton branded hotels will be going in, or planned for downtown Indianapolis with an expansion of the convention center. And some hoteliers, White Lodging, which has the JW Marriott as well as others, are raising a bit of a fuss right now, saying there are too many rooms coming on and not enough convention space to offset. They think it's going to be bad for business of the existing hotels.
Well, you know, the CIB and Visit Indy used the same process that they used in 2004 prior to expanding the convention center and bringing on the JW. There was anxiety on the part of the other hoteliers who were here then. You know, within a couple of years of opening up, convention business picked up, sold. Everybody's above 70% again. So it's a cycle. You know, Visit Indy wouldn't be promoting this concept unless there was a need for it. You know what I mean? Plus the other thing that I think is important to look at, you know, we've had Marriott, we're a big Marriott city, which is great. #1 hotel chain in the world, they do a great job. But now we got Hilton coming in with a significant presence. We're gonna have the #1 and the #2 hotel chains, both selling Indianapolis. And the thing I think that's more telling than anything that proves we're ready for it is Hilton's only investing in 3 cities with this new Signia brand: Atlanta, Orlando, and Indianapolis. Of course, Indianapolis being the best of those 3. But, so I think there'll be some anxiety. I think the study proves it, that it'll work out, and I think it'll be a great day. But, you know, everybody has concerns, because I got mine. Why should you get yours?
Yeah. Deborah, does this go anywhere you think? It's Senate Bill 7. It also includes improvements at Bankers Life Fieldhouse to keep the Pacers, an extension for the Pacers, and some other things too, and includes these new hotels.
Well, I think it's critically important, you know, and as Frank said, we've done this before in terms of, you kind of have to have the hotels before you can get the growth in the convention business. And once you get the growth in the convention business, and at the same time, we've got to continue upgrading Bankers Life. You know, we've got to continue upgrading our venues, our sports venues, so that people keep coming. Yeah. It's very important.
To stay that sports, quote unquote, sports capital, it's not an inexpensive proposition.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, Hoosier values are conservative values. We're not going to jump off, you know, the boat and take some real risky. I just think Chris Gall and the team over there, they're very conservative, they're very thoughtful, and they really do a great job. So I'm excited about it, because I like Hilton properties as well.
Yeah, another big project, one of the biggest projects in decades, was it's not new now, I still consider it new, the Indianapolis International Airport, which this week was honored for, I think, the 7th consecutive year.
7
and 8th overall.
8 out of 9.
9 years. Best airport in North America. They just keep raking in the honors.
Well, again, that's another example of, you know, Hoosier values. We built an airport. It's the first post-9/11 airport built in this country. I have friends that come to town, they go, what a great airport, easy to get around. You know, Mario Rodriguez and his team out there does a great job. More flights added. I think, you know, we were talking earlier before, the, you know, transatlantic flights, direct flights to Paris. That flight's filled every day that it flies, I hear. So, you know, they just do a great job. Customer service, the internet, you don't need a password. You go in the airport and you got live Wi-Fi. I mean, they're innovative every day. They're changing up some of the shops to make it more local, give it a more local flavor. So
this is a lot like, this is a lot like what we were just talking about. You know, you just got to keep upgrading and stay on the top edge. You know, you've really got to stay ahead of the game, and that's what they're doing at the airport.
And you, Deborah, you mentioned too before we started, this is the number of nonstops that have been added to some key markets. You know, adding to San Francisco and Seattle, the West Coast, and other key markets.
Yeah, I think one of the big stories of this week is that they announced that the international flights out of Indianapolis are up 77%, and to the West Coast up something like 45%. Incredible.
Yeah, Mario Andretti kind of helped put Indianapolis on the map in the old days, and now Mario Rodriguez has taken the reins.
There you go.
Well said.
Hair's not as good, but
There you go.
right.
Not as
Great
good.
job.
That's right. Toyota and Vincennes, a partnership, Mike. Workforce development so important. Toyota in the in Princeton, southwest part of the state, announced a program to get high school equivalency to at least 200 students. They want to grow that more. So, another example of how it's about more than the 4-year degrees. It's
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is a very important partnership between Toyota and their Workforce One, and then having Vincennes involved. There are a lot of young people who didn't finish their high school degrees. They've got to get that done first before they can get an associate's degree at Ivy Tech or Vincennes, and then maybe even move on to a 4-year education. But I think this is the community, the university, Toyota investing in their future workforce.
Yep. Changing of the guard, if you will, at the WNBA's Indiana Fever here in Indianapolis. A new president of the franchise, someone we know well here at Inside Indiana Business, Dr. Allison Barber, who is at WGU Indiana, now steps into this role to lead the franchise.
This is really exciting. I think that both Allison and Tamika are inspired choices. Allison will bring so much energy and innovation, as she did with WGU. If you watched, which you have, the growth of WGU since she took it over when it first came to Indiana. And then you imagine what she can do over there with the Fever. And then you take Tamika and add her to that mix. And as she said in their news conference, and we are going to win another championship.
Yeah.
And I absolutely believe
That's good. And Tamika stepping in, returning to the Fever as VP basketball operations. So it will be, I think, an interesting, dynamic 1-2 punch, if you will.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. Moving on, we have the Indiana University Research and Technology Corporation, IURTC, the technology and innovation focused unit at Indiana University, announcing they're going to put put space into Electric Works in Fort Wayne, that $400+ million innovation district in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, this, you hear me say it all the time, but cities that have had great mayors for a long time, Paul Helmke was a great mayor, Graham Richard was a great mayor, Tom Henry is a great mayor, and they're providing the leadership and investing in the downtown. Downtown Fort Wayne is amazing now.
It's on fire. This is a big lift. This is a big project,
huge.
and they're getting tenants, but it's
so congratulations to all the mayors that provided the leadership.
Yeah, another note this week, another one of the many local breweries, Daredevil Brewing, is growing. They're going into the Bottle Works project, which is the old Coca-Cola bottling plant here in Indianapolis. Another massive project along Mass Ave that'll transform that area as well.
Yeah, and I think this is their third location. They have one up at Ironworks on the north side. So they've tested their product, they're there. And I think you're right. The Bottle Works project is going to be so transformative and like nothing we've ever seen. There's so much going on around the city everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think, again, and in this city, we talk about great mayors going back to Lugar and Hudnut and Goldsmith
Absolutely.
and Peterson and, Everybody back, Ballard and everybody. So
Ballard,
we've had
all
that
of them.
continuous streak for 40, 50 years, and that makes a difference, that when these projects come up, Deborah was talking about, things moving forward and staying on top of it. This city has managed to stay on top of it because of great mayors. So, Mike,
Absolutely.
to your point,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
everywhere in the country.
And you mentioned Ironworks on the north side, Hendricks Commercial Properties, which is the developer of Ironworks and Bottle Works, Wisconsin company, a family-owned company, investing in total $500+ million. So that says something about Indianapolis and their conviction about what Indianapolis is as a market.
I think they see us as a great investment, and they're right. And particularly Bottle Works, that area really needs this development, and I think this is going to help jumpstart.
Yep. Final one, we always like to end on sports. Jim Delaney announced he's going to be stepping down, not retiring, but stepping down as commissioner of the Big Ten Conference next year, I believe. He has been really a transformative leader with the Big Ten Network and so many other things, and things that have benefited Indianapolis as well.
Right. I think, he's been a big supporter of Indianapolis, hence the tournaments here quite often, both the men's and the women's, other activities. I think, though, you're right, probably the most transformative thing he did was the Big Ten Network. They just renegotiated, and now as every other conference renegotiates theirs, because the Big Ten was the first network in the country, as everybody else negotiates theirs, the price is going up. People thought they'd never want to watch sports 24 hours a day. I guess Delaney proved them wrong.
And once again, very, very true. Great Insiders panel this week. Frank Short, Deborah Daniels, Mike Harmless. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll be right back after this.